Senior Vice President of Hockey Operations, the man they call Mac T, Craig McTavish, fresh back from the West Coast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
You made an effort to be here for us, Craig, so obviously it's an Oilers telecast, and we don't do journalism per se on this show. It's a celebration of the game, but you were, because Dallas Aikens is coaching Sam Steele, and he loves him. And Dallas came in because you love Dallas, and tried in a year and a half to change a culture, and he just said, I might have tried to do it too quickly. I just love your thought on a guy like Dallas, so dedicated to the wisdom of the game. And
well, just when we brought him in here, I thought he'd be just an unbelievable role model to our players. Unbelievable work ethic, great family man, terrific husband and father, and I still believe highly in Dallas, and I think he's going to work his way back into the NHL. It was a tough situation here. Obviously, we were undermanned in terms of what we gave him to have success, but an unbelievable person, a guy that I've got a lot of respect for, and believe that he'll work his way back into the game.
We had Grant Fuhr and Glenn Anderson with us all weekend, and I asked them to say a few words about you. And the one thing that came up was loyalty again and again. And I mean, it shows with how many hours, how many years you put in with this organization. How much does that word mean to you?
Well, it's everything, really. It's a real. The Oilers were all about loyalty. I mean, you saw that, and it was definitely a top driven down by Glenn Sather, who was intensely loyal to his players at all time. He pushed us hard, but intensely loyal to all his players. The Oilers had a great leadership group. Might have won a Stanley Cup or two with all that talent, but definitely wouldn't have won 5 without having a great leadership core with Kevin Lowe, obviously, Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky. So to hear that from Andy and Grant is a real compliment to me.
you did it in New York too, Craig. I can always remember you taking care of Ronning, because Nemchinov couldn't shut down Ronning. You could do that shutdown role. So the Pesics are right over there, and Mark, their boy, of course, from Sherwood Park, is playing now for the Florida Panthers, and he would team with Keegan Lowe as the shutdown duo to try and contain Ryan Nugent-Hopkins when he was a Red Deer Rebel. So did you get to see them?
They weren't any fun to play against, and Keegan still is, and he's our captain down in Bakersfield with our American League team, and just a wonderful example of growing up in a family like with Kevin and Karen, and an athletic family, and just a ton of stuff to add to our group down in Bakersfield. But toughness is certainly something that his father has instilled in him very well.
You just got back from the West Coast watching the World Juniors. We're not going to have time to get through all of your prospects. You have 3 there. But Evan Bouchard, Grant Fuhr says he can't imagine him being not with you guys for very long.
Well, he played exceptionally well. He's got an unbelievable sense for the game, great passer, a little bit like Sergei Zubov. I mean, lofty goal to get to that level, but he's got that type of ability. It was an unbelievable experience in Victoria and Vancouver. The fans out there were great, getting behind Kazakhstan and getting behind Denmark, and it was a great experience. And Evan is a guy that we hold very high hopes for. He's a player that we need to develop, and we're confident that he's going to be a big piece of the Oilers for a lot of years.
All right, stick around, Craig. I'll ask you what you think of Hitch's remark that it was a conditional or situational motivation right now going on with his team. He's frustrated that when they win, they get satisfied. When they lose, they play well the next game, and they're coming off a loss against the Ducks. And that's next with Craig and the crew on Rogers Hometown Hockey. Coming down, and to hear Ken Hitchcock talk about Claire Drake, it's all plant a tree you'll never see. Those are examples of wisdom being passed on. And Craig, as Tara mentioned, you've done such a great job of that. Hitch is hot. He doesn't know what to do with his Oilers right now. What's your thoughts?
Well, they're going to get a good response tonight for sure. It's huge playoff implications for our hockey club. We're coming off a pretty flat game from what I understand last night. I watched the third period. It didn't look too bad, the third, but apparently the first 2 weren't that good. So as a coach, I always believed that it was better to come off a drubbing than it was to lose a close game, because you're never going into the next game satisfied.